Hey, my T3 friends, this is my morning video. And so, wait a minute here. I got to start over. No, that's right. That'd be okay. Okay. My morning video. And basically, I think the markets are broken. The way it's looking here right now, basically, the European markets are absolutely shut down after getting the coronavirus in Italy, and there's just no buyers out there. Immediately upon the European Open, the futures were holding up well, and then Europe Open, and they just started fading from there. And we're already back to the 2020 Open on the um, ES futures. So basically, everybody at the end of last year, if you bought in this year, you are losing money on this S&Ps, and this is the major beast. I was thinking we were going to open up around the 32.85, be a bullish scenario. We did not manage to do that, so very nervous situation going forward into today's session. Let's see here. Let's go down and check my other ones out. The Qs. Basically, we had. Oh no, this is the Russell. We'll start with the Russell. See, we had the positive divergence in the Russell yesterday, and pretty much a flat on the advancing and declining. I thought they were accumulating the Russell down here, and as you can see, we did get a responsive pop, but they seem to be selling it off here a little bit. Um, this one here, of the major indices, is holding out a little bit better on a relative basis, in my opinion, going forward here. But I did like seeing that positive divergence. I really think that they were trying to support the Russell yesterday, going intraday. It gapped down with the rest of the markets, but intraday they seem to be trying to support that. Okay. Which one was that? That's Russell. Okay, NASDAQ. Okay, let's see here. Move this over a little bit. There we go. NASDAQ. This is another situation yesterday. Seemed to be. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. They were supporting the NASDAQ. Is that Monday? Okay. Yeah, they seem to be supporting or accumulating the NASDAQ yesterday on the advancing, declining uh, securities intraday. So I thought we were going to get, like we typically get, a responsive short squeeze in the overnight session. But these issues with the whole coronavirus, they've put in the sell. Um, they're just totally wanting to sell this market going forward here, and we do have some very bad signals setting up here for the intraday session. I'm going to start with the diamonds. And these fib fans, it's really, really cool to set these up here. Now, what I did here, instead of typically, let me activate. Typically, what you do with this fib fan, you draw it over here. But what you can do is just bring it over like this, okay? And this give you a little idea just how, if you're wanting a responsive short squeeze, we want an open in the diamonds above the sit fib fan for a continuation short squeeze to the upside. And as you can see this morning, that is not what we are getting here, okay? And so that's got me concerned going forward here. We are below that fib fan line, breaking down. This is a much more bearish scenario on the e-minis going forward into today's session, that we are going to be retesting, if not breaking, yesterday's lows on the diamonds. Okay, so that is one thing that I did want to point out here going forward. And so I'm really leaning more bearish to today's setup. First thing I'm going to get into are some of the top movers yesterday. American Express really took it on the chin. Looks like we are going to get further continued downside pressure today. Let's see here. Try to get this to load up here. Going to get some continued down pressure. My primary Support would be the 124.48 area. We aren't there yet, so more downside pressure potential there. Carnival Cruises, it really got hammered yesterday. It's showing a slight, so far it's showing a slight bid ask, a little bit higher off that massive sell off yesterday in the Carnival. The whole travel and leisure sector is just going to get walloped. It does not look like it's going to turn around anytime soon. We do have a slight bid in Amazon, ever so slight, $10 up $10. This is a consolidation zone on the monthly time frame. Uh, this is a very good chance that Amazon could hang out here, but if the markets turn south, Amazon's going to go with it. So keep that one on your list going forward here. Bank of America, that was one of the major ones. Right here, right now, we are marking. It does have a flat bid for the open as we speak from the close, and as you can see, it closed near the lows of the session. So that's something to keep on our watch. Our financials, the financials were performing relatively better yesterday, but I do not like what's going on here with the bonds. If you look at ZN/ZN, I had mentioned in the noon video yesterday, I was hoping that I was calling for a top in the bonds, and look what's going on here in the bonds. On our 10-year bonds, and we are at all-time lows on interest rates on the 10-year. So just keep that in mind. We are right here, double top as of yesterday, potentially breaking out to even. So this is a very, very bad scenario on our bonds in the morning session and for the markets. So, and if you look at your TNX, I mean, very good for refinancing purposes, but it's not showing it. It's not showing that, but we're right down here near the 1353 area, and these are all-time low 3-year. These are all-time low situations on this, and this is, this is an all-time low situation back. We were right, double tagging it down here on the potentially putting an all-time low in on 10-year interest rates on. So this is a very dangerous situation, setting up for a potential black swan event. We've had a correction so far, but this is really, we start breaking all-time lows here. This is very, very bad for financials. So keep that in mind going forward here. A lot of down pressure setting up here for our financials. You see how we're here at range highs. We're right up here again, potentially a significant move to the downside setting up here in our financials. So keep that going forward here. We have our Aflac insurer. It was basically they're expecting Aflac insures when people are out of work and stuff. So they were taking profits off the table out of fears that there might be some layoffs and stuff, and Aflac might having to be pay out on that situation. AMD, a lot of downgrades yesterday in the semiconductors, and you can just see how it's just completely unhinged to the upside. This thing can really come in if the markets decide to start selling off. Here in the last 49, we do have a bid, still have a bid in the overnight session on the AMD, but so keep that in mind. Now we do have Regeneron and Gilead. Really, Regeneron especially, you could have made 600% returns intraday yesterday on Regeneron calls. It was just an amazing run in Regeneron. Nice. There's reports out that they have a similar drug that might work for the coronavirus. So buyers were stepping up, and the news is overnight that Trump is pushing a $2.5 billion stimulus for these healthcare providers, these biotechs, to develop drugs to combat the coronavirus, looking for vaccines and stuff for the coronavirus. So this is going to be a very hot sector to be in today in today's trade on the bullish side for today's trading session. This is one of the few sectors that's probably going to significantly outperform, and that is the biotechs. Okay. So far, the VIX, the VXX, uh, is down a little bit this morning. I don't know if it's got a bid. So if you look at the VX, it looks like, yeah, they're taking a little from the close. They're taking a little bit of the froth off the VX. You would think with the bonds hitting highs that you actually be hitting highs in the VIX as well. But right here, right now, you do have a little discount on the VIX. But the bonds are very concerning here, and so keep that in mind going forward here. And then you had your Gilead, of course, had a nice little bid yesterday, and it has another nice little bid today, gapping up on the news and probably potentially breaking out today. And then Zoom, of course, is a video conferencing software used really big right now in China, and likely to been very, very hot with the whole coronavirus thing. So those are some of the major things on above average volume on the bullish and the bearish side that were hitting the markets yesterday. So I did want to point those out. Those were the few stocks above average volume intraday yesterday that were hitting my scanners. Okay. Now, if we go over to my futures real quick. Bear with me here. One thing I made some nice profit on GLD puts yesterday, and as you can see, they are continuing to take a little bit of the froth off of the gold, and money's coming a little bit out of the gold. It is holding above this substantial volume point of control. So keep that in mind going forward here. If you come out on a daily standpoint, it has gotten very parabolic here. Gold is not a very good place to hold your money long term. You have to go out on a weekly standpoint with this whole Corona thing. And as you can see here, we do have, wow, that is something on the weekly standpoint so far this week. So we'll see what happens here with gold. It does look like this is a potential topping area for gold, but seeing what's going on with the bonds, I'm really concerned what's going on here going forward. Okay, that's one that really stood out this morning. On the volume side, let's see what's doing the top volume. You got your bonds doing over 1 million shares on your bonds already this morning. So they are breaking out on volume this morning. Very dangerous situation setting up here. Pushing to, looks like we are breaking. So this is really looking bad for the financials. So just something to keep in mind. And then, look at the ES futures are less than half of the bonds. So far, it's 5:30 in the morning. So I'm thinking we're going to have over 1 million shares in ES before the opens here. So very active trading setting up here for the today's session, in my opinion. Okay, scanners. Let me update my scanner here real quick. Okay. Some things going on here. In the overnight, you did have a little bit of a bid in our China stocks. That's one of the top ones here. So I did want to point out here the fears out of China. They are still willing to step in and support Chinese stocks at these prices. They were selling off the UVXY, which is a VIX 3-time. And then we have on our ETS, we have a slight bid in our SPY and a slight bid in our Qs so far this morning on that front. And then we have over here on this one here, if I just look at my NASDAQ 100, top volume leaders, still really light volume this morning. AMD has a slight bid. It's the leaderboard. So we do have a little bit of bid in our semis, even our let's see, our microns selling off a little bit. Gilead, of course. JD, so that's a Chinese internet. So basically, everybody's stuck at home, so they're catching a lot of business delivering to people. So keep that in mind. NVIDIA Semiconductor, they're selling it off, it looks like. Microsoft has a bid. This is my only position overnight. I do have Microsoft calls. I thought we were going to get the short squeeze. And from what I'm seeing in my charting, I don't think that's going to happen going forward today. It looks like a much more bearish tape. We do have a slight bid in Apple. And Tesla looks like it's got a really nice bid so far this morning. So basically, we do have a little bit of short squeeze rally in our Monsters of Tech, it looks like, in my opinion. And if we go down here on the S&Ps, AMD, Gilead, Apple, Facebook, those are the top volumes. So basically, our Monsters of Tech's getting a little bit of short squeeze. Boeing, really don't have a bid in our Boeing at all today. So, and our Amazon has a slight bid, ever so slight bid. They've already started giving some of it back. So basically, just a lot of bearish situations going on here in the markets. And if I go here on my SPY, give me 1 second here. Okay. I don't want to go on weekly. I want to go on daily. 1 second. If I can get this to load. There we go. I didn't draw my fib fan here. Duplicate. Similar situation on the fib fan on the S&Ps. As you can see, now if you go down on my lower time frames, as you can see, the S&Ps are breaking that fib fan to the downside. So this is a much more bearish take going forward into today, that prices are not done looking for the downside. So yeah, I do plan on getting out of my queues early in the session. This is not a bounce situation, in my opinion, going forward into today's session. Like I said, I did take some Microsoft just in case we did get that bounce. Probably be taking a small loss on that. But why we are the Qs, if you look on our daily on our Qs, this is the reason why we are right on that 50 SMA on our Qs. And we did have a responsive bounce off our 50 SMA on the Qs. And that is why the Monsters of Tech are catching a little bit of a bid. They are the leaders on the bid board this morning. So just keep that in mind going forward here. Let me activate this here real quick and change my little fib fan, move it over just one here. And as you can see on this trend right here, we have broken down away from the others, the S&Ps and the Russell. They're actually hugging this line. The IW or the Qs actually broke away from that. So just keep that in mind going forward here. If you go down on our 5 minute, and yeah, we're seeing, yeah, we're coming right back down to that 50 SMA as we speak. So not the scenario that I wanted to see this morning. I wanted to see a responsive pop in these markets, especially in the Qs, especially seeing the positive divergences I saw yesterday. So yeah, I will be getting out of all of my longs and looking hard to be shorting the financials today. Thanks a lot. Like the video if you like it, and please make some comments down below. I do appreciate all your feedback. Okay, and thanks a lot, and I will see you in the trading room.